XRP coordinated crash exposed. YouTube, today I'm going to tell you about how some big companies are making XRP and other digital money crash on purpose. What we're seeing in the markets right now is totally fake. It's not happening naturally. It's completely weird, and they're doing it on purpose to scare people like you away from buying digital money. And that's why you need to listen, because if you fall for their tricks, you're probably going to lose all of your money really fast in these digital money markets. The biggest mistake I see people make when they start buying digital money is thinking they're super smart and then freaking out when things get way crazier than they thought. Now, I'm going to explain exactly what I mean, how big rich companies actually trick the markets, and I'm going to show you real examples of how they're doing this right now today. And I've seen this happen many times before. First, I want to talk about how they like to make people scared and how it really works. Usually what you'll notice is when the markets crash, a lot of people will point to different news stories. They'll say, oh well, America just sent fighter jets against Russia. War worries. Markets are going to crash because of all these things. But then you look at the real reason why the price is going down. And it's because big rich companies are selling tons of digital money at once, making the price crash. And that's really what makes regular people like us close out their investments too. Because the first thing regular people do is they start looking at the news. Why are the markets crashing? What could it be? Oh, maybe World War III is going to happen. Okay, I'm going to sell. They look for a reason to sell, when really, there isn't a good reason. This is all planned. This is all built to trick you. News like this you should totally ignore every single time, eh? Indeed, just take the chance that's given to you when the markets do go down. Now, in case you lost money, I want to tell you, you're not the only person losing money right now. In fact, over $100 million worth of Ethereum bets were wiped out in just 60 minutes. Close to $500 million worth of bets were wiped out across the whole digital money market in that same time as Solana, Bitcoin, XRP, every single digital money was getting totally destroyed. So what's really happening here? Well, there are big problems in the digital money world that people have been talking about. Things that I've been talking about on this channel for a long time about ETFs, because ETFs actually give big companies like BlackRock, Fidelity, Grayscale, Vanguard, State Street, you name it, a ton of control over every single digital money that they have an ETF for. Now, I want to explain why that is. When BlackRock started their Bitcoin ETF, it's very clearly written in their rules about how the ETF works, that if lots of people are selling the ETF, meaning tons of people selling the ETF, which would make BlackRock have to sell Bitcoin, because that is the backup money for this ETF, that they can make that choice to sell that Bitcoin anytime within about 21 days of people actually selling. Now, this is a really long time, and BlackRock says the reason for this is because, the Bitcoin, computer system is slow and blah, blah, blah. But think about it. If, for example, there was $5 billion of people selling that happened 2 weeks ago, let's pretend BlackRock could decide to sell all of it in one day today. Now, you'd have to be really silly not to see how that could really mess up the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest of the digital money market. This gives them a crazy amount of power to change the price of every single digital money because they don't J. UST have the Bitcoin ETF. They also have Ethereum ETFs. They're going to start Solana XRP ETFs. So they'll have lots of control over the prices of these things, and it's totally up to them when they sell this Bitcoin from people selling their ETFs. And they could also pretend to bet against Bitcoin before they even sell this Bitcoin. And nothing's really stopping them from doing that. It's kind of crazy. All it takes is one tip from one BlackRock worker to another. Hey, by the way, I'm about to sell $5 billion worth of Bitcoin. You should bet against it. It is the easiest way to wipe out people in the markets. And this is exactly what happens over and over again. In fact, I want to give you guys some examples of this actually happening. So this is BlackRock. They had $1.2 billion worth of IBIT people selling. This made Bitcoin's price drop 10% when they sold it. This happened in 2025. Fidelity had $500 million of ETH people selling. This made ETH crash 12%. Also happening in 2025, Grayscale had $18 billion of Bitcoin people selling, which made Bitcoin drop 20% in 2024. And Vanguard and State Street also had different scary warnings through indexes, which also made markets dip too. And let me tell you, the amount of power that these big companies will have over smaller digital money is going to make these Bitcoin crashes and Ethereum crashes look like nothing because they're way easier to mess with this way. Way less trading can cause way bigger price changes or price drops, depending on which way they're going with it, if they're buying or selling their stuff. And so I want to ask you guys, what do you think about that? I mean, that's pretty crazy, isn't it? When you really understand how it works. Kind of insane that they could do this, and they could make money from it by just making a bet before they make these huge purchases. And the craziest thing is they make money on all the people that are coming in and out of their ETFs. It is literally the most insane way to make money. They make money on your transactions going in just so they can hold Bitcoin for you. Then they're allowed to use this Bitcoin to sell it, and then of course it messes with the markets, and then they can make money from that too. And that's where they actually make the most money. It's not for people buying and selling. Like, that's a great way to make money. They're making hundreds of millions of dollars from this. But the real money comes from what they can do with bets against and for digital money and those types of trades because they have crazy amounts of power to mess with prices. But these things are planned, right? So what you'll see, for example, and I want to show you Ethereum just as an example right here because Ethereum is one of the biggest losers in surprise, surprise. It's one of the best performing ETFs lately. What you'll see is Ethereum just had a huge sell-off. You can see right here, it pretty much fell off of a cliff. It was trading at around like $5,000 per coin, just a few days. Literally, it was at 4,500 right here. Literally within the last, a couple days here, and you just see it totally fall off a cliff right here, right? And it falls off a cliff again. This morning, same deal. There's lots of people selling happening right now. And it's just investors panic selling fueled by big companies actually selling when people sell their ETF starting now. That's literally all that's happening. And we're also seeing this happen in Bitcoin as well. And Solana people buying Solana are totally freaking out thinking that this part of the good times is over. XRP is falling to 2.83, as you can clearly see right here. But there's something that I'm doing right now, and that is me buying when prices are low. Why am I doing that? Well, almost every single time that we have a big dip in price like this, like we saw right here on the 22nd, it's met with, of course, a huge jump back up, right? I bought when prices were low. I bought on these lows, and then I sold up here. Everyone who's in Crypto Crusaders, my trading group, would have gotten to make that trade too. And now we're doing the same thing again. We see a huge drop in price, we bounce back up. We see a huge drop in price, we bounce back up. And it's like a clock. That's what these guys do. That's how they make money. The markets might trade sideways overall over the last 5 months, but there's plenty of chances to buy these lows and sell those highs. And that's what they do. That's how they make their money. Secret told, completely exposed. Oh no. And so yeah, you have the chance to simply go ahead and, panic sell and then just leave the markets where you can actually learn and grow and do well and use the same tricks they're using. You just need to know what they're doing and when they're doing it, and you could do pretty well here. It's really not super hard. It's hard, easier said than done for sure. But that's exactly why my Discord group link down below exists, which you can join for free. And I want to show you guys something that shows that the long-term future is going to be good despite this short-term craziness. Okay, America is changing their Q2 GDP growth up to 3.8%. GDP growth is going up. The Fed's saying that they're going to cut rates at least 2 more times. Oh, okay. Economy is looking strong. Money supply is going to go up. The signs are on the wall. This short-term craziness doesn't really mean anything that if you're somebody who wants to hold XRP for a long time, just hold it for a few more months. Really, that's all you got to do. Now, if you're somebody who wants to make money trading and you want to really actually take advantage of these moves, you're going to want to be in my Discord group. That's all I can say about that. Also, I just want to point out once again that AI is starting to be put into systems around the world. It's going to really boost the GDP growth. It's going to really boost the amount of money that